This short video explains a new concept in reducing energy costs. In summary, you get someone else to reduce your energy costs and you pay them out of the savings. This new concept is termed Energy Performance Contracting, or EPC. The service is provided by an energy service company, an ESCO. So, how does an energy performance contract work? It is a contract between the client and the ESCO that defines the level of service, the equipment that is put in, who maintains it, and how the savings are split, and, importantly, how the savings are calculated. So, how are the savings split? Typically, 80% of the savings go to the ESCO and 20% to the client, for a period of generally 7 years or perhaps longer. The contract is a balancing act. The risk to both parties has to be managed. The risk to the ESCO is potentially high. They are funding the energy efficiency improvements. The risk to the client is typically low. Because of this potential risk imbalance, it is the ESCO that will draw up the contract. But before the energy performance contract is written and agreed, there are a number of steps. The first step is obvious. The client and the ESCO start talking. It may be that the ESCO approaches the client first, or less commonly, the client approaches the ESCO. If the client approaches a number of ESCOs to seek proposals from each, then this will be a problem. Firstly, there are not that many ESCOs. Second, if an ESCO realizes that the client is asking others to also make proposals, they may walk, as the cost of getting to the stage where contracts are signed is too costly. So, the client and the ESCO meet. The concept is explained. The ESCO will then wish to carry out a preliminary audit, sometimes termed a walk-through audit. The walk-through audit is typically a 1-day on-site and 4-day desk work job. Utility bills are reviewed, but no measurements are taken. The audit won't cost the client anything, and it is not usually for the client's eyes. Its sole purpose is to check out whether there are likely to be sufficient energy cost savings to make an energy performance contract attractive to the ESCO. If the walk-through audit confirms that the EPC is mutually beneficial, that a contract is drawn up and conditionally agreed. Why conditionally? There is another important step to come, and quite an expensive one from the ESCO's point of view: the investment grade audit. The investment grade audit is essential as it will define the baseline energy consumption. This is the baseline from which savings are calculated. It will also list each piece of equipment in detail, and I mean in detail. Serial numbers will be recorded. The audit will define operational hours and many other factors that affect energy consumption. The investment grade audit will identify the costs and savings to a high degree of certainty, typically plus or minus 5%. The investment grade audit is then appended to the energy performance contract and the contract finally agreed. If the client does not now like the energy performance contract, then the client will walk, but usually has to pay the cost of the investment grade audit. This cost could be significant, typically €20,000 to €50,000. If the contract is signed, the ESCO installs or replaces or upgrades any equipment or controls, and the savings start being made. The savings are calculated and then split between the client and the ESCO, typically 80% to the ESCO for a period of 7 years or more. So, how are the savings calculated? It is crucial that this is a fair and transparent process. The method, termed the Measurement and Verification Plan, will form part of the investment grade audit and therefore part of the energy performance contract. We all know that energy costs vary with tariffs, the weather, and activity level. The Measurement and Verification Plan will state how this is taken into account in order to calculate the savings. So, what sort of organisations will benefit from energy performance contracting? Typically, large energy users such as hospitals, breweries, universities, and large public sector bodies. Why not smaller energy users? This is usually because the cost of setting up the energy performance contract is too large. So, How can environmental efficiency help? Our experience is in finding energy savings for clients. We have worked with SEAI, Invest Northern Ireland, and the Carbon Trust, the public sector, and with many companies, both large and small. We know from experience that savings, often as high as 20%, can be achieved by no-cost and low-cost measures. So, if you don't fit into the energy performance contracting model, talk to us on the numbers on this slide. And if you are still watching this video, a little bit about myself. My name is Bob Sutcliffe, a Director of Environmental Efficiency. I'm a chartered engineer with over 25 years experience in energy issues both in Ireland and the UK. I'm also a Director of MP, the professional body for energy practitioners in Ireland. I am on the approved list for Enterprise Ireland for the Green Start, Green Plus and Green Transform programmes, which cover, amongst other things, energy management systems. Please feel free to call me or to email me at the company address.